Hey, how's it going? So I have this lot of 7DS lights that I bought off eBay, and the plan is to reshell them and clear shells. And when you're doing a big project like this, when you get them all back together, you want a reliable way to be able to test all the components and make sure that everything was plugged back in right, and make sure that all the functions survived you taking the console apart and putting it back together. Normally, if you want to test that kind of thing, you usually fire up some game and play in it for a minute and see how well all the buttons work and if everything is functioning properly. But I wanted something that was more exact, a more reliable way of doing it. So I found this tool called Diagnostic. So this thing has been around since 2007, it looks like, and it's pretty old at this point, but it's still very useful, and it's a great way to test out your DS Lite. So let's go over how it works and see how it can help. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want some sort of R4 card, flash card for your DS or DS Lite, or any model DS, I suppose, or 3DS it would work on. But if you're using it on a 3DS, you wouldn't be able to test features that are only on the 3DS and not on the DS. So you just get an R4 card, you download the Diagnostic ROM, the .nds file from the site, put it on the card, put the card in your DS, DS Lite, DSi, what have you, and then you go through it. So let's do that now. Alright, so one thing that you're gonna notice when you fire this up is that it has this music playing, and it's kind of loud and annoying, and you don't really need it, so you can just turn down the volume and that won't impact how this program is used. Alright, so here we have the main menu. It's sort of a Wii menu style thing. So we can scroll through, and there's actually a lot of things that you can use this card for. So here, let's just go to the first one, and the reason I was trying to find this sort of thing in the first place is the button test. So if you go to that, you'll see you have everything on the bottom screen. And when you press the buttons, those buttons are highlighted on the bottom screen here. And you even get 8 directions for the D-pad. So if you're holding 2 at once for a diagonal, that'll show up here too and show you that that's working. So this is probably the easiest and just most straightforward way I've found to make sure all the buttons are working properly. And we can hit the M button to go back to the menu. And then the next thing is you can also touch the test screen, and it's pretty accurate. Also touch the test screen, and it's pretty. Also test the touch screen, and it's pretty. Test the touch screen. All right, let's get back to it. If your screen is calibrated properly, it shows. It'll make sure that all the areas on it are working fine. You can trace the lines or draw something and see how that works. So that's a great way to test that. You can also test the microphone here. And if you just blow into it or just talk near it, you'll see this meter going up and down. And that indicates that your mic is picking up sound just fine. There's also a speaker test, which is really cool. So on the screen here, you'll see it says press left or right on the D-pad to hear sound come out of the left or right speaker. And so I'll do that now, and you can see how well that works.
Right, left, right.
And then there's a pixel fixer, which doesn't apply to me because this screen is totally fine. There's no dead pixels or stuck pixels, but sort of this flashing light thing is meant to fix possible dead pixels you might have, which again I can't test, but it seems like that should work fine. Beyond that, there are some other operations that you can do here as well. You can test the Wi-Fi, you can boot from the Game Boy Advance slot, you can reset the SRAM, and test a rumble pack if you have one of those. So overall, this Diagnostic ROM is a great thing to have on an R4 card. And if you're somebody who fixes DS's or DS Lites often, and you don't have an R4 card, I would say it would even be worth buying an R4 card just to have this on it as a quick and easy way to make sure that everything on your DS, DS Lite, DSi, what have you, is working perfectly fine. As I was editing the video, I realized I should probably show this working on a few different types of 3DS consoles. So here it is on 3DS, and here it is on a new 3DS XL. I should note that you can actually test the joystick here as well. However, as you'd expect when you press the ZL and ZR buttons, it doesn't do anything. Here it is on a 2DS. What I found odd is here's my 2DS and the cart actually won't click in, even though it works fine with normal carts. So I'm not quite sure what the problem is there, but I've noticed that if you actually push the cart and hold it in, it will read it. So I guess if you really want to use this on a 2DS, you can if you want to hold your thumb there. But it doesn't seem like it's a really practical tool for a new 2DS XL. So this is the best tool that I found for this. If there's anything that you know of that works as well or better, feel free to share in the comments. And that's that. Feel free to give this video a like and leave a comment. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you did. Anyway, that's all from me. Thanks for being here. Take care.